Welcome to the Disney Dream!
Hey travel friends, it's Stoof here with Travel SzN. Welcome back to our channel. In spring 2024, we had the pleasure of embarking on our first Disney cruise, the Disney Dream. This was a family vacation, and I'm here to share our full experience with you in this video. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos like this one. Good morning! It is our cruise embarkation day. We woke up in our hotel. We stayed at the Crown Plaza Airport Cruise Terminal 1, and we're very nicely located right in between the airports and the cruise terminal. So it was a free shuttle from the airport to the hotel. So we are going to take that Uber XL from the hotel to the cruise terminal, where we will board the Disney Dream. Once we arrived at the terminal at Fort Lauderdale, we dropped off our luggage with the crew members. Disney mailed us luggage tags to put on our suitcases before we arrived at the terminal, so we had those already marked. The crew members will take that up to your stateroom for you when you drop it off at the terminal. Next, we began the check-in process. When you enter the building for check-in, there are two lines. There's a line for first-time sailors, which we would have been in. However, we were traveling with my parents and siblings who are return Disney cruisers, so we got to go in their check-in line with them for return sailors, which was a much shorter line. After checking in, there is a waiting area, and whenever your boarding group number is called, you're welcome to get onto the boat. Our number had already been called by the time we checked in, so we stopped for a couple quick photo ops and started our journey onto the Disney Dream.
Disney Dream. Please welcome aboard the family.
Yay! From the moment that you walk onto the ship, Disney does a great job at making you feel included and special. We got onto the boat at deck level 3 around 12:30 p.m. and it was about lunchtime, so we headed up to deck 11 where a full buffet lunch was available at Cabana's restaurant. There were many tasty food and beverage options available, all included in your stay. And we still had about an hour to kill before our staterooms were scheduled to be available for checking into. So we sat there at the lunch area. My mom let me know about the Disney app, and I'm so happy she did because there are so many cool things in this app. You can look at where all of the characters are going to be at each location at each time every day. If you want to get pictures with characters, you can see what other events are happening, what the shows will be that evening. There also are deck plans for each deck, so if you're trying to find your way around to a specific spot on the boat, you can use the Disney app for that. You also can use the Disney app to message other guests on board. So if you make new friends or if you want to message your family members on board, you do not have to purchase Wi-Fi to be able to message other guests using that Disney app. That's just included. You're able to communicate with each other even if you're not with each other. The Disney Cruise app became very useful for us while we were on the ship, as there were 5 of us in our party, plus other family members on board, so we were able to all keep in touch through that Disney app. We also had the ability to use WhatsApp if that's something that you have. Before visiting our stateroom, we wanted to check out some of the other cool spots on the boat, so we headed over to the D Lounge. We also walked over to the District, which is the area with the bars and the nightclubs. And on the way up to the room, we caught Rapunzel walking through the halls, so we had to stop and get a quick picture with her. Next, it was time to check into our stateroom. Here is what it looked like. Nate had pre-ordered some items to be in the room when we arrived. One of those items was a non-alcoholic champagne, some chocolates, and a rose. We also ordered bathrobes for the room. These bathrobes are so soft and comfortable. We ended up taking those home with us after the cruise because we love them so much. Our room was on deck 10, midship, so we had a pretty nice view from the balcony looking down. I enjoyed watching the sunrises and sunsets from our balcony each day. There were 2 separate doors for the bathrooms. There was a shower room with its own sink, and there was a toilet room with its own sink as well. The bathrooms were actually more spacious than I was expecting. Day 1, we have not left the port yet. What time is it? About 3:30?
Almost 3 o'clock.
3 p.m. And so far we had lunch up on the 11th deck. Cabanas. And we met up with some relatives, got some pictures with Goofy and Rapunzel, and we got checked into our stateroom.
Our bags already came.
Yeah, the bags are already here.
It's quick.
Yep. And now we're going to go hang out at the pool. Nate also pre-ordered 2 of the refillable beer mugs. That's something offered through Disney Cruise Line. Basically, you pay for this beer mug before you arrive. They have it waiting for you in your room. And whenever you go to a bar, you are able to fill up your 22-ounce beer mug for the cost of a 16-ounce beer. Around 4 p.m., we had to attend the mandatory assembly drill in the big theater space. Everybody has to go to that. It's only about a 20-minute long drill where they explain what to do in emergency situations. After that, we headed up to deck 11 and 12, where the Sailing Away show was taking place. Most of the ship was on these 2 decks at this time watching this show, and also to watch the boat sail away from Fort Lauderdale. Alright, we left the port and you can still see the coastline way back there just a little bit. We're going to finish unpacking in the room and then we are going to go to a show and then we're going to go to dinner. Because we decided to go with the 8:15 p.m. dining, we ended up seeing a show each night before dinner. For people that booked the early dining, there is a second show during the late dining time. So we would watch a show each evening and then go to dinner at 8:15. The show the first night was called The Golden Mickeys. Each evening, the staff for the room created a new little towel animal for us. This was like a small blanket that went on the end of the bed, and they created a little animal out of it each day. And dinner, our first evening, was in the Enchanted Garden. One thing that was new to me on this Disney cruise was dining in a different location each evening. On other cruises we've taken in the past, dining was always in the same place, so that was interesting to me that we had a change of scenery each evening and a change in menu, of course, as well. The dining staff was fantastic on the Disney Cruise Line. They remembered your favorite beverages and asked if you wanted that each evening. They also took into consideration any allergies. Many people in our family have tree nut allergies, so each night after having dinner, they brought us out the menu for the next evening's dinner, and we were able to look through the menu and choose what we would like to eat, and the food would be prepared without any cross-contamination with any nuts. So they did a great job of keeping everyone from having any allergic reactions while at sea. We started out day 2, our day at sea, with some breakfast up at Cabanas. They had a delicious breakfast buffet with lots of delicious breakfast options. And after breakfast, we pre-booked a royal gathering, which was basically just photo ops with 4 Disney princesses. All right, we signed up to do the royal gathering, which is like a photo op, and we both decided to get into cosplay, kind of, for this. So, Nate, who are you?
Zoro from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Of course, when we arrived to the royal gathering, we were the only adults that were posing for photos there. Most of the attendees were under 7 years old getting pictures with the princesses. However, we're still kids at heart, so we wanted pictures with the princesses. After the royal gathering, we walked around and checked out some of the shops on the ship. There are at least 3 or 4 different shops with merchandise, clothing, pins for trading pins with other guests, lots of different miscellaneous items and souvenirs. They have quite a lot in those shops. We also walked up the steps to check out the spa and the fitness center. In my opinion, this fitness center was relatively small compared to other fitness centers on other cruise ships we've been on in the past. There weren't very many people in that fitness center mid-morning, so I think they had an idea of about how crowded it would be and about how large they needed to make it. Later in the morning, we headed up to deck 12 and hung out in the adults only section. It's much more quiet in that section than it is on the 11th deck in the main pool area. So we enjoyed some relaxation there, laying out and getting some sun, reading books, and enjoying the views of the ocean. We saw in the Disney Cruise app that there was going to be an adults craft activity in the 687 bar, so we headed down there around 2 p.m. to check out the craft, and it was a craft of cutting paper into creating a small replica of the Disney Dream boat. So all we really needed were scissors and little sticky tabs to stick the piece of paper together. In my opinion, that craft was not the most creative and not the most fun. I would have enjoyed a more artistic craft where everyone's finished product didn't look the same. Later in the afternoon, we headed to a session of bingo. You walk into that area, it's super crowded and busy. Everybody is paying for their cards and grabbing them. They have multiple options for you about what type of cards you can get. My mom won bingo, but we did not win anything, but it was still entertaining.
I don't really play bingo.
I'm used to like Polish festival bingo, where it's a bunch of like senior citizens calling out bingo card numbers, and you only have like 2 cards in front of you. This game had a tablet with 24 cards digitized, and it would automatically put the numbers in it for you, and you had a handheld card if you wanted as well. So it was a lot, and also the people working the bingo thing had really
very high energy.
Very high energy, yeah. Just not what we're used to when we're playing bingo in our hometown in Pennsylvania. It's pirate night, so we're gonna get a picture with Jack Sparrow, and then we're gonna go to dinner, and then we're gonna go do the pirate night festivities, so stay tuned for that. Pirate night! Disney Cruise Line is known for having an elaborate pirate night, one night of their cruises, and this particular cruise had it on the 2nd night. So as part of Pirate Night, they have characters around the ship dressed up in pirate costumes. They have Captain Jack Sparrow there for photo ops. The food options at dinner on Pirate Night were packed with flavor. There's a really fun performance up on the 11th deck later in the evening, followed by an incredible fireworks display. You definitely don't want to miss out on that. Our towel animal this evening Kind of looks like a chef, kind of looks like an octopus. Not really sure what this one is. Let me know if you have an idea on that one. That was a wrap for day 2. Next up is day 3, which was our day on Grand Cayman. Again, we woke up and had breakfast at Cabanas, took in some beautiful views of the water. We weren't at the port just yet, so we did get to see the boat come on in and drop anchor out in the water close to the port. To get from the ship to the island, we had to take tender boats over. This was not my favorite part of the trip. It does get very crowded. Boats were allowed to start taking people over to Grand Cayman around 8:30 a.m. We got in line around 8:25 a.m. and the line was already wrapping around several hallways on level 3. So we finally got to a tender boat about 45 minutes later, around 9:15 a.m. That tender boat then left the cruise ship around 9:20, so you're on the boat for about 5 minutes when everybody's boarding up on there. They do a quick safety talk, and then you head over to the terminal at Grand Cayman. So overall, it took about an hour from us getting in line to get off the boat to being off of the tender boat at Grand Cayman.
So we just got off our tender boat. Entering in here, we noticed that there are several tents. These are actually for pre-booked excursions. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this middle path here and find a taxi.
If you guys have seen any of our past videos, you know that Nate and I love the island of Grand Cayman. We were there just several months ago, so we had an idea of where things were and what we wanted to do. We just walked out of that terminal, grabbed a bus, and took the bus to Coral Beach. Coral Beach is a property that includes a restaurant, a bunch of beach chairs, they've got a little volleyball net, they have fun music playing, and they have a small beach area that opens up to the water. Coral Beach also has water sport rentals if you're interested in kayaking or jet skiing. Getting into the Coral Beach property has a small cover charge, and then once you're there, you can pay extra if you'd like to rent a cabana, or you can just get a beach chair with a little umbrella anywhere else on the property. You can pay extra to order some food and beverages while you're there, or pay extra to use any of those water sports that they have. After hanging out and relaxing at Coral Beach for a bit, we walked up the water where it connected to 7 Mile Beach.
Welcome to Grand Cayman!
And from there we did a several mile walk up and back down the beach on 7 Mile Beach. We took a couple breaks to do some snorkeling in some areas and just enjoyed our time along beautiful 7 Mile Beach in Grand Cayman. Later in the afternoon, we grabbed a taxi back to the terminal where we waited in line for about 20 to 25 minutes until we got back on a tender boat and made it back to the ship. We were very exhausted after 2 jam-packed days of nonstop activity, so Nate and I ended up skipping dinner at the Animator's Palette this evening, which I'm kind of bummed that I missed out on because this looked like one of the coolest restaurant options for dinner. We started off day 4, our day at sea, with a sit-down breakfast at the Royal Palace area. We wanted to give the sit-down breakfast a try to be able to compare the sit-down breakfast to the buffet up at the 11th deck at Cabanas. We actually preferred the buffet at Cabanas over the sit-down breakfast. We felt that the food quality was not any better at the breakfast downstairs, and the buffet has more options available. Just like our first day at sea, our second day at sea was jam-packed with fun activities to do, including the famous diaper derby that Disney Cruise Line holds. Babies that are able to crawl and not walk are able to sign up to compete in the diaper derby. This was very entertaining to watch. People cheer so loudly for these babies crawling on this raceway. The D Lounge was hosting karaoke, so we stopped by and watched some karaoke performances. Later on, we went to the fourth deck where there is a track that goes around the whole ship. They also have shuffleboard areas, so we played a few rounds of shuffleboard together. And this evening, the show was Beauty and the Beast, which in my opinion was the best performance of the entire cruise.
As the sun will rise.
This evening was an optional formal night for dinner, so we decided to dress up a bit more than we did on the other evenings. They had beautifully prepared food this evening at dinner. And when we made it back to the room, our little towel animal was wearing my glasses, and to me it looked like Snivy the Pokemon, but let me know what you guys think that one was. Our fifth and final day on the Disney Dream was spent at Disney's private island, Castaway Cay, in the Bahamas. We started the day out with breakfast at Cabanas, as usual, but then we had a special itinerary to follow for this day, as my cousin was getting married on the island of Castaway Cay. She booked this all through Disney Cruise Line, so all of our friends and family were invited to attend this cruise and watch the wedding ceremony on the beach at Castaway Cay. They had a special tram just for the wedding party, so we took that tram over to the ceremony area. It was a beautiful ceremony, watching my cousin and her new husband read each other their vows with the Disney Dream in the background behind them. After the ceremony was over, we did some family photos together and then took the tram back to the Disney Dream, where we had a short reception period. The couple cut the cake, did a first dance, had some more little fun activities for the guests at the wedding party. After the reception ended, our itinerary for the rest of the day was up to us, so we then switched into our swimsuits, packed our beach bags, and headed back to Castaway Cay to hang out at the beach after grabbing some lunch. So if you look at the map of Castaway Cay, you'll notice 4 different beach areas. One of those is for a children's program area and where they have like swim with the stingrays and stuff like that. 2 of those beaches are Castaway Cay's family-friendly beaches. And then on the left side of this map is Serenity Bay for ages 18 and over. We started at Castaway Cay's Family Beach. These beach areas have a nice wide open beach space, tons of beach chairs. They have some fun activities out in the water, including some water slides, a ropes course, and a really cool snorkeling lagoon. In the snorkeling lagoon, they have sunken ships and hidden treasures down in the reef below the water, so as you're snorkeling around, you can find some pretty cool things. After starting out at Castaway Cay, my mom and I took the tram over to Serenity Bay. We wanted to check that out. The Serenity Bay area, again, was much quieter than the family-friendly area. There is a bar right there to get some drinks if you'd like. There are lots and lots of beach chairs with umbrellas in that area. The water here was so calm and shallow and clear. It really was serene. Because we had a later start getting out to the beach area to relax, we were some of the last people to head back to the cruise ship. The crew from Castaway Cay waved goodbye to us with their Mickey hands. I thought that was cute. And before dinner, we packed up our checked bags to put them outside our staterooms to be taken out for us for the next morning when we get off the ship. Dinner was delicious as usual. And there was one more final performance by the characters in the atrium area on deck 3 that evening. When we made it back to our room after dinner and that little performance, we had one final towel creature. The next morning was pretty brief. We had breakfast at our dining area in the Royal Palace, and then it was time to get our belongings and begin to disembark off of the ship. It was pretty busy and crowded in that atrium area on deck 3 getting off of the ship. However, we were off the ship by about 9:30 a.m. We followed that gangway back into the check-in, check-out building where we picked up our luggage in the luggage area. And that brought our time on the Disney Dream to a close. As a quick recap of our vacation, we had a 5-night cruise on the Disney Dream. The first night was spent leaving Fort Lauderdale on the ship. The second day and night was spent at sea for Pirate Night. Day 3 was at Grand Cayman. Day and night 4 was another day at sea. And day 5 was spent at Disney's private island, Castaway Cay. The evening was spent on the ship. And then on the 6th morning, we disembarked the ship before 10 a.m.
Well, our Disney cruise has come to an end,
Thanks for watching.
and happy
Happy
travels!
See ya!
Overall, it was a fun-filled family vacation. We have traveled on 3 or 4 different cruise lines in the past, and I think this was one of our top cruise lines that we've been on. The quality of the food was great. The quality of the service was phenomenal. My family had a wonderful time. Nate had a wonderful time. I personally enjoy more of the reclusive mountain vacation more than a crowded boat vacation. However, if you are a big Disney fan and you love this type of stuff, you're going to have an incredible time on your Disney cruise vacation. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed and found this information useful if you're planning your own Disney cruise. Have a wonderful day. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we wish you happy travels.